What's going on, everybody? This is JVB from the Post Game Report podcast. So I'm showing you Tempest, right? This is an old arcade game that I played growing up, and you see how simplistic it looks. It looks very plain by today's standards. I mean, had this game came out today, it would be trash, number one on social media, and all the journalists, and it would probably be a free-to-play game on mobile phones with ads up the wazoo. The reason why I'm bringing up Tempest is because, and even though it's not the first game I played growing up on the arcades, that was Asteroids, I want to demonstrate how, well, not demonstrate, but I want to show you how far the industry has come since the 70s. See, when I first played Asteroids in 1978, well, 79 in my case, because I was about, 8 years old. I was born in 72. The visuals, sound, everything was very simple, but it was complicated for me because, once again, I was, 8 years old. Here I am playing a game on the arcade, which I never seen before, and that is Asteroids, and I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do? And here's a game like Tempest, and again, I'm going to go back to that GIF. Because we have people on social media complaining about anything. Everything and anything regarding video games. All you see is a lot of people complaining, and those seem to be the people that get all the clicks on YouTube, all the likes and retweets on social media or social networks. But the one thing that they don't provide you is an experience that, or insight on an experience like this, playing Tempest at the video games, or at the arcades, excuse me. Imagine playing this game, and you have a bunch of quarters sitting on the deck because people are waiting behind you for their turn, and then you have, let's say, 30 to 40 other arcade cabinets going off at the same time. You have Pac-Man, you have the music of Donkey Kong, Centipede, and then you have a DJ playing music on the loudspeakers. And then you have smoke from people smoking inside the arcades. And people watching you play because your score is pretty high. Imagine that pressure. And then you have to deal with the game. All this is like actual game speed. All this stuff coming at you. All this insanity. Imagine being there. Being in your teens, 11, 12, 13, and playing and having to deal with all that pressure. You're not there to count frames per second, RDNA, fog, all this bullcrap, draw distance. You're not there doing that. You're here playing Tempest at the arcade because you love video games and you love the experience of being around people that love video games just as much as you do. Now more than ever, we have the capability of communicating with others who love the same hobby, but yet we spend most of our time downplaying the importance and the enjoyment of a community and video games. For example, Sony had the State of Play. They announced that there's an expansion for Final Fantasy VII Remake. They announced a new game called, not Sci-Fi, but Sci-Fu. They showed gameplay for Kena and new gameplay for Deathloop. And all people can say was, they didn't show anything new. They didn't show what I wanted them to show. And it was a failure. And what's wrong with Sony? What the hell's going on? They're losing their way. And then they announced that in March, as a matter of fact, 4 days from now on Tuesday, we're going to get Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PlayStation Plus subscription service. So if you subscribe to it every month, you can download the remake for Final Fantasy VII, which is a great game. But no, people are more worried about an update that is coming out in June for the PlayStation 5 that gives Final Fantasy VII Remake 60 frames per second, 4K capability. But no, instead of enjoying what was announced, they are focused for something that is coming out in June. But there are a lot of people who love video games just as much as I do, who are on my social feeds, and even some of them are acting up a little bit. And it's like, okay, I understand, we're locked in. There's not much activity we can do besides pay attention to what's going on in the video game industry. But if you own a PlayStation 5, you understand that there are PlayStation 5 titles to be played. And I see a lot of PlayStation 5 owners busy on the internet doing everything but playing video games. And if you are playing those video games, then why not talk about it? I'll tell you why. Because on social networks and social media, like YouTube and Twitter, talking about the games you're playing, talking about how much you enjoy them, that really doesn't get you any clicks. It doesn't get you anywhere. And that's very unfortunate. It gets you nowhere. It gets you no attention, no retweets, no follows, no new subscribers. But the moment you go bashing the PlayStation, because let's face it, the Xbox really don't got nothing going on, and it gets a little boring pointing that out. But the moment the PlayStation does something a little bit unorthodox from past practices, for example, putting Days Gone on PC, suddenly the end of the world, the end of Sony is approaching. Sony fans should worry about Sony going the route of Xbox. Now, how stupid is that? You have a company that's been successful for many, many decades, that has knowledge, way more knowledge about the industry than we do, and yet we're too busy on social networks, social media, YouTube and Twitter, making these false allegations just because Sony is trying to get their foot into another way of making money. Because at the end of the day, that's what Sony wants to do. Sony and PlayStation, they are in this to make money. But they make high quality products, in this case, video games, that we enjoy. And they are proud of that. And I see no reason why we should forget that. We jumped the gun so freaking quickly in this gaming community. And, people call themselves content creator, but all they're doing is just creating content that gives them the quick views, the quick subscriber count. They're not really providing you anything useful, nothing that you can take with you and think about later on. And then we get mad that Sony is, out to worry about their business. I mean, I don't get some of you people. Some of you got fucking Patreon. Some of you got that coffee, whatever, donation thing going on. I don't even know what it's called. But some of you people want your viewers, your listeners, to pay you money, right? Just for regurgitating what you've heard on another podcast or reading what the hell you read from some journalist who wrote something that has a clickbait title. You want people to subscribe to that, but you get angry when Sony is trying to find ways to spread out their content to make money in a new market. I don't get that. I really don't. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble, but I just wanted to show you Tempest. This is an old arcade game, and when I tell you, looking at this right here brings back so many positive memories, so many great memories. I can hear the sound effects. I can hear the music blasting in the arcades. It's just something that you New Jacks will never ever be able to experience or talk about. I can. I've been there. So I'm very proud of that. Very proud of that. And I'm very proud of in how far the industry has come. So look at this game and realize that time has made the industry change for the better. The visuals that we have nowadays are incredible. This is what I grew up playing. And when I see what's out there, even if it doesn't look up to par with other games, it is still amazing to see what the industry is capable of doing, what developers are capable of doing, and how beautiful a lot of these video games are, and how huge these open worlds are, how the gameplay has gotten so much better. I can appreciate that because I grew up with this right here. Some of you new jacks, you guys gotta chill. Stop complaining. Even though you're not. So I don't know why I'm saying that, but yeah, it's a very clickbaity world we live in, and there's only a few of us left who are willing to put out content that we know is not going to really make any of gain any traction. Like this video will probably get 10 views. Hopefully 5 out of that 10 can relate to what I went through and remember this game and remember where they were and how much they enjoyed it, at least for a few seconds, you know. So anyway, I'm JVB. Talk to you later.